Minnesota Fighting Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer decided to feed the media jackals this week. Had a little press conference via Zoom. We're going to go through some of his choice comments on some various topics. Now, this took place right before the PJ Hall trade, so the absence of Hall questions, there you go. So, first up, on GM Rick Spielman's extension, quote, "I think he's great. Rick has done a phenomenal job with me here. I think it's a good team. The way ownership, coaching staff, management, I think all of that is really good. Rick's a football guy. He loves the process of digging out players. I think the biggest compliment you can give a general manager is he's a football guy," end quote. Now, yeah, Rick did play some college ball back in the day at like Southern Illinois State, something like that. So actually, I'm pretty sure he and Zimmer both played college football at some directional college in Illinois. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, Spielman obviously is a football guy. Your brother of Chris Spielman, legendary linebacker of the Lions. Don't hold that against him. But yeah, Spielman, I really do respect Rick Spielman. He certainly put in the work as an area scout, then eventually moving up to personnel, then eventually becoming a general manager. So I think he certainly does do the legwork. I think he does get in there with the scouts. I think he does do his homework. He isn't one of the general managers who just abdicates everything and just sort of outsources all the work to the scouts and just be like, yeah, this guy. Yeah. Hey, regional scouts, I fully understand that you're on the road 300 days a year and you're making $25K. And I know that you wrote up all these amazing reports and did the due diligence, but I'm just going to completely disregard it on draft day. Hey, I like that guy because he runs fast. Sort of deal. Spielman ate it, and I think that it has taken time, but the Vikings have built up this culture, and that gets thrown around ad nauseum. But I think Zimmer is a big part of it. Spielman is obviously a big part of it. And you look at the locker room, you look at the front office, you look at the coaching staff. I mean, it's a good organization. Now, can they be great? Can they go full on Jim Collins, good to great? It's possible. Next up, on COVID-19, quote, "I think everybody is cautiously optimistic. Quite honestly, with our facilities here, we could keep our guys in a bubble. We've got so much space and we got the hotel right next to us, but unfortunately, those aren't the rules. The one thing I have a lot of confidence in is one, Eric Sugarman. I know he got the virus, but he's done an unbelievable job here with all the protocols that they've had to put in place here. And two, I think that you're going to have smart, disciplined players this year, and for the most part, we've always had those kind of guys, and that's a tribute to Rick. As far as the kind of guys we bring in here, there, everywhere. And guys understanding that it's not just about them, it's about everyone else. We're all in this together, end quote. So I think he makes a really good point here about having the caliber of player as well as not a me guy, being a team guy. I mean, maybe that was one of the big reasons why Stephon Diggs was eventually traded, because Diggs, well, he started out as a team guy, eventually turned into a me guy. Maybe he always was a me guy. He was just really good at hiding it. But yeah, this year, above anything else, players being disciplined, players putting the team ahead of themselves. So that means not going out to the strip club like that one player from the NBA and potentially exposing yourself to COVID risk. And also, you look at players' families as well. I mean, Zimmer even mentioned this. He said, quote, "We have a responsibility to not only our family and ourselves, but our football team. We have a responsibility to Kyle Rudolph's family, to Kirk Cousins' family, to Dalvin Cook's family," end quote. So, I mean, this is purely anecdotal, and I'm sure it's completely subjective since we are, Vikings fans here. But I do get the weird feeling that the Vikings organization is more of a family as opposed to other teams where you look at the Patriots. It's business, 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 business. Now, don't get me wrong. It certainly is a business. I mean, the team will cut your ass if it doesn't make sense. Look what happened with Everson Griffin when he opted out before he was going to get cut anyway. So I do think that there, just because of the locker room and just because of this vibe of being a family unit, that players will be less selfish, both for the team and for their respective families as well. And I think that they could potentially get through this whole COVID thing better than some teams that don't have that vibe in their locker room. Next up, on being in a high-risk group, being older, maybe not the healthiest guy in the world, quote, "There's no way I would opt out, but I don't think that they have an opt-out for coaches. We love to do what we do so much. This is important for us," end quote. So with Zimmer, being an older demographic, being in his 60s, as well as you look at Gary Kubiak, who I believe is 59, is going to be 60. But also, notably, I mean, Zimmer's had a myriad of health issues related to his eyes. Gary Kubiak has had issues before, with his heart, as well as, he passed out at the halftime of a Texans game, as well as he had to step aside for a Broncos game due to health issues. So, I mean, this is really serious stuff. I mean, just taking out all the football, all of that aside, these are two gentlemen that are in a much higher risk demographic, as well as you look around the rest of the coaching staff. A lot of these guys aren't spring chickens either, as well as we've talked about. Coaching profession doesn't exactly lend itself to the most healthy lifestyle. I mean, a lot of stress, not a lot of sleep, usually poor diet, that whole thing. So it's something that you're going to have to keep an eye on, because it's one thing for a player to potentially contract COVID-19, go on the reserve list, young, healthy, statistically not going to be much damage, no harm, no foul. But, man, if an older coach, I mean, they're in the same building too. Oof. Yeah. Also, Zimmer talked about Michael Pierce. He said this, quote, Michael called and he explained to us his situation. It just wasn't safe for him to play. Honestly, if a player doesn't think he's safe and he should do this, I'm with him 100%. We'll figure it out. We've got a plan and we'll stick to it, end quote. And Pierce obviously opted out because he has concerns about COVID-19 due to pre-existing condition. He's got asthma. And also, I want to believe that when Zimmer said we've got a plan and we'll stick to it, I mean, part of that was a PJ Hall trade. I mean, it's just really good. But Zimmer is always going to stand up for his players. I'm sure that some coaches around the league may see some of these opt-outs, especially on their team, especially players that aren't in high-risk categories. They're just kind of like, yeah. But yeah, Zimmer is a lot of things. A liar is not one of them, and I truly believe that Zimmer's completely backing Pierce or any other player that could potentially opt out. Also, a guy that could be in the mix to help replace Michael Pierce, Armon Watts. He said this, quote, Armon has played really well. He's done a nice job when he's been in there. He played a fair amount towards the amount of last year. Towards the end. I'm guessing that was a typo and said end of last year, right? Except he didn't. Armon Watts did not. He didn't play in the playoffs. He got some run in the Week 17 exhibition game. He should have played more. I think his NFL debut was Sunday night against the Cowboys. Armon Watts is really good. Also, I think Armon Watts is going to be the most impacted by the PJ Hall acquisition, but it is good that when Zimmer does talk up a player, he doesn't do that often. So, I don't know. Like, at first, I thought it was going to be a bombshell replacing Michael Pierce, but addition of PJ Hall, potentially working in Armon Watts more. Maybe even Jaleel Johnson steps up in year 4. It could be fine. But that's it. That's our thoughts on Mike Zimmer's comments. What are your thoughts and our thoughts on his comments? Let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. You want to support the work, pull some in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull, production value.